Hello, and what a great day to sew something wonderful. I'm Kia with Kia B, and I am so excited to be back with you today. For whatever reason, this one part of my hair is just gonna do its own thing, so we're just gonna go with it. It's been a little bit since I got to film with Flosstube, so I'm excited to be back and doing that. I think the last video I posted was New Year's Eve, which means I have left all of those projects downstairs. Let me go get them. I'm so glad I just said it out loud. And Tech Guy just brought them upstairs for me. So yeah, that like doubles my whip section because I totally forgot. I have not talked to you since then. So let me put this over here so I keep things in order. Yeah, so the last video I uploaded was, I think, New Year's Adam. I think it was that Friday. Yeah, because that's the day I uploaded, like, here's all the projects I'm working on. I'm so sorry. So, with that being said, we have a lot to go through today. Since then, I don't think I talked about it. We'll just do like a life update. So our youngest, Peanut, had surgery on December 8th. And, if I'm being 100% honest, it was a lot more recovery than we were prepared for. And so, we got lots of family time during Christmas. We didn't really go anywhere or do anything, just because we weren't really prepared for what we were getting ourselves into. Not because anybody didn't prepare us for what recovery was going to look like, but his recovery just, of course, because it's him, he just looks a little different. So we got through that. Still getting through that. In fact, we went back to school today, and he lasted about a half a day and then had some, what we think was some seizure activity during lunch. So he went to a nearby friend's house to sleep on her couch for a little while the older kids wrapped up school. For those of you who don't know, we have 3 sons, and we homeschool. And so we do a community type school once a week. And so, yeah, we started back at that today. So that's a little bit of that. I hope everyone's Christmas was really well. Went really well. If you celebrate Christmas, we had a lovely time. Again, just so much family time. If we did anything with extended family, it was at our house so that our youngest could rest. So that was kind of nice. I love hosting so very much. It's quite literally my favorite thing to do in the entire world. If Tekka and I could open a retreat center, we would 100% would do that, because I love all the tiny details of hosting. So that's a little bit of a life update for you. Tech, I had a birthday. If you follow us on Instagram, I put up a little video of like some really sweet childhood pictures of him. And for those of you who may not know this, I have a video about it, or we talked about it in a video towards, I think, Valentine's Day last year or the year before. Tech Guy and I have known each other since we were 7 years old. And so we have like a lot of pictures just throughout high school and college and into our marriage, and now in our mid-30s with a family. So it's kind of fun to have videos like that. So what else? I had a planner day with Stephanie a couple of weeks ago. So I just thought, why not talk about it? It's something I enjoy doing. Why not throw it in a floss tube and we'll see. So last year I talked about it. I was in a Hobonichi last year for my like everyday planner. And I am more of like a journaling planner sort of person. So the Hobonichi I use is, it has everything. It has the monthly pages, the weekly pages, and then it breaks it down into daily pages. So for instance, this is Sunday, July 31st. And it's completely blank. I just didn't use the planner that day. But I tend to come in and like, journal, plan a little bit. Yeah. So, Steph and I had a planner day last week where I'm moving into my new Hobonichi. Here are some, oh yeah. This is like journaling through Stitch Away last year. So that was kind of fun. So we had a planner day where I'm getting most of it set up. I'm not done yet. I'm hoping tomorrow I can get up in my office and do some planning, but here is the beginning of that. I'm just a very different planner. Steph and I started doing the stickers in the Book of Days like 2 years ago. 2 years ago. I love how everyone's doing it now. It's so fun. And so, yeah, so I'm just working on this guy. And then, like I said, if you love planners, this is a great option. So it's got your monthly planners. And like, this is my entire life. This isn't stitching. Like this is, I have Jen Lee's planner for stitching. And then here's how it's weekly set up into columns. And then I already showed you a day, but there's like February 2nd. So, it's kind of nice just to like sit and be able to do those things. I have tons of stickers and scrapbook stuff that I kind of utilize. Yeah, so I do that in a Book of Days as well. And then I just as like fun journaling, but that my Hobonichi is like everyday life. Like all my to-do lists go in there, homeschooling stuff, work stuff, all of my stuff goes in there. So yeah, so that's just a little planner note if you're into it. If not, then just skip on past it. Okay, I am just coming off of a Stitch Away retreat. So Stitch Away is put on by Keepsakes Cross Stitch. That is in Sharonville, Ohio, Cincinnati. They also put on, they're also responsible for putting on Stitch Con. Stitch Away is a small retreat right after Christmas that was started 22 years ago. And so Barbara Hills puts that on with Keepsakes and the Keepsakes team this year. And it was just a lovely retreat. Got there on Wednesday. Stephanie drove all the way to Indy to pick me up, to drive all the way back to Cincinnati to go to Houston Woods. It's not in Cincinnati, it's on the outskirts. But went all the way back to Houston Woods to drive me all the way home on Sunday. She spent the night and most of Monday here and then drove home Monday night. Who does that? Isn't that so sweet of her to do that? So, you know, it's just a little bit of fun time that we have just the two of us, which is kind of nice. And then went to retreat. I love this retreat so much. It's only about 150 people, between 100 and 150 people. I love this retreat so much because Keepsakes I consider my LNS, and like the people there are like my friends and my people because we see each other often. So it's really fun just to sit in a room with like that many people and just have so many different conversations and everything. So we barely sleep at all, but it's totally worth it just to have some time to refresh and sit. And after the month of December that we had in our family, Tech, I was like, you are going, it's happening. Cause even up until Tuesday, I was like, I don't know if I can do it. So, you know, Tech, I moves the world so that I could have that time. So it was really sweet. So I will get into some Stitch Away stuff here in a bit. Actually, let's do that first. Let's do Stitch Away first. So, Stephanie had told me they keep the retreat designer, they keep secret until Friday. And so, Stephanie had told me like, hey, I'm not telling you, but, cause I poked a little bit on our planner day when we were Zooming and I said, do I know this person? She said, yes. I said, have I met this person in real life? And she said, yes. And I said, am I going to be excited? And she said, yes. So in walks on Friday, Judy Whitman, and I was, which I'll talk about this in a little bit, I was working on the model for Twin Peaks and I'm like down and I'm feverish. Anyway, I'm trying to get it done because I'm like less than 50 stitches left in this model and I'm just head down like trying to stitch. And this sweet woman comes up and she gets like real close to my face and she was like, hi, Kia. And I turn around and it's Judy Whitman from JBW. Tekka and I got to meet her in 2020 and in real life at market. And she is literally just the sweetest. We exchange emails, you know, every couple months and she is just the sweetest lady. So I was so excited to see that it was her. So, so it was a lovely conversation. She came up and so she hugged me and everything. And then she said So you talk about your son just like a small little bit, but I would love to know more. And in person, I don't mind to have those conversations. And so we sat and chatted about those things and connected over a lot of different things. So it was a really sweet time, and I was so excited to see Judy, which meant I could not wait to see her retreat piece. So when we got to the lodge, when you check into your hotel room, they like give you a little, just a little like sussy kit. And so, or a little bundle of things. And so it had a needle minder in there that Susan from Keepsakes had made, had a bunch of freebie charts in there. And that's where you find out like the theme of the weekend. So this year's theme was the Bluebird of Happiness. And so that theme is kind of like woven throughout the weekend. Words are escaping me. After I've taught half the day and then I come to film, it's not a good day to film, but that's when I could. So we get that. And then on Friday night when they introduce the designer, then you also get like a little sneak peek project. So I will show you what that sneak peek is. And then the designer gets up and she does like a Q&A and all that kind of stuff where they just talk about her, and then she opens up the floor and you can ask her questions and things like that. So this is the little needle minder that we got. It says Welcome Stitch Away 2023. Susan cut those out individually with her Cricut. And then I left it. Did I leave it in my bag? Oh, it's right here. So then Friday night we got this little baggie, this little canvas bag with these adorable floss drops. And inside is a finishing kit for this pillow. And it's got buttons in it and everything. Isn't that adorable? So it says Bluebirds of Happiness small pin cushion. And this is our Friday night sneak peek. So inside it, we got the polka dot fabric and the little pink trim. And then there are the little charms and button to make that little pillow. So that was exciting. We got to do a Q&A with Judy. Believe it or not, tears were shed. It was very sweet. Not by her, but by some people there. It was just very kind. Judy, if you know Judy, she's just a lovely person. And she had talked about this book called Affectionately Yours, and it's by, I think it's Kansas City Quilt Co. Oh, no, Kansas City Star, for Kansas City Star Quilts. And she talked about this book, and she's like, there are only a dozen left. And so immediately, as soon as she said that, I'm like, Stephanie, look it up. And so Stephanie starts looking it up, and she shows me, and I see this pattern right here, like down there in the corner. I know you can barely see it. And that's what happened is when she found it on eBay, I saw this, and it says, "'Tis a home to welcome every friend." And it's got 3 little houses on it and a berry bowl and some birds and an urn. Like and I was like, I have to have this. And as Stephanie and I are looking at it, Judy's talking, and she says, somebody had asked her, are all of your patterns still in print, or do you have some out of print ones? And she said, I have some out of print ones and they won't ever come back. And I was like, of course, this is going to be one of those out of print ones that's never going to come back. So I'm like, cool, but at some point this weekend I'll ask her. So fast forward to Saturday morning breakfast, and Judy comes over and she's talking to us. And she had some analytic questions for Tech Guy and I. And so she's talking to me about her channel and stuff. And I said, Judy, before I forget, I said, there is a tiny little pattern in the corner of that book. Steph and I were looking it up on eBay or something. And I said, there's a little pattern with like little houses, and it talks about having your friend in your home. And because again, I love hosting. And she was like, yeah, that pattern doesn't exist outside of that book. But the one book I brought, you just take home with you. And I was like, no way. And she goes, no, take it home with you. And I said, well, Judy, I would love to pay you for the book. She was like, absolutely not. I would love if you would just take it home and stitch it. So she gave me this book, and I had her sign it. It's beautiful. It was put out in 2014. So you get this pillow pattern, and then of course this little sampler that I was looking at. And then there's like a few other ones. I mean, it's just adorable. There's a letter from her in here. This is cool. Sorry, that was probably so loud. This is really cool. So this is a christening dress or christening gown that her mother hand stitched. She did not have a sewing machine or anything. She hand stitched this christening gown for Judy. So Judy wore it, and then all of Judy's kids wore it. And it's just beautiful. So she has a picture of that in there and talks about the sentimentality of that. Did I just make up a word? And there is some beautiful, beautiful work in here. I love this. So we've all seen like those patterns that you can switch out, like little, the little squares and stuff. And so here's one of Judy's. And there's a picture in here. It's on a chart page, so I won't show it to you, but there's a picture in here where she stitched those individually and turned them into ornaments, which was cute. So when she handed me this, I was flabbergasted. So I'm so excited. I've got a sal going with my friend Tammy, who I got to see in real life, and I was so excited. And so she and I are going to stitch this together because she won one of these books in a giveaway that night. So that was really exciting. So I got this from Judy, which was just so incredibly, Judy is just so amazing. If you guys have not watched her channel, she's JBW Designs, Judy Whitman. She's just so incredibly kind. So that was the surprise designer. Okay, let me back up a little bit. Speaking of Tammy. So at StitchCon last year, if you saw me at StitchCon, I was a hot mess. I had fallen the prior weekend. And at the time of StitchCon, I was told it was broken. And they had put me in a what they called was a walking boot, but I was non-weight bearing. So all of StitchCon, I rode around on that little thing, just terribly inconvenient. And I'm just remembering now that my friend Melissa had uploaded a video on Instagram with a song that was very funny. And so I rolled around. So I'm rolling, and I roll by this table, and this woman says, Kia, come here. And I've never met these women before. And they go on to tell me about how the previous night, Stephanie was in the late night stitching room, and she's talking about just how amazing our friendship is. And she's like telling them the story of our friendship. And these two women were like, you remind us so much of us. We've been best friends since we were young, since our kids were little. And so they're telling us all their story. And then, this wonderful lady opens up to me about their medical story and their family. And so, you know, at that point, like tears in her eyes and everything. Well, they exchanged phone numbers with me, actual phone numbers. And we started texting and talking through Instagram. And we've just really become quite close, the three of us, over the last 6 months. So Holly, which is Hobby Holly something on Instagram. And then Tammy, who has multiple Instagrams. I'm not really sure which one. I think it's Tam Stitches is the one that she uses for stitching. So Holly and Tammy and I have just really bonded over the last few months, and I just think they are the sweetest, most uplifting, encouraging women. And so we were so excited to be able to go to Stitch Away together and like be in the same room. And several obstacles came up between all three of us that may not have landed us there, and we were all like waiting on pins and needles to be in the same room at the same time. So when I walked in on Wednesday and those two ladies were already there, it was just such a sweet moment. And so I kind of floated between like my normal table, and then I would like go over there for a little bit and sit and talk. And I got to meet, oh gosh, all the ladies at the table. I don't want to forget anybody. So I had Holly and Tammy, and then next to them was Garden Goose Stitcher. I might not be saying that right, but Teresa. So Teresa doesn't know this. I don't know, she might now. I'm going to turn red. Like 2 weeks prior, I was watching one of her videos, and she said she was going on a retreat, and I was like, in January, and I was like, is she coming to Ohio? So I asked Holly and Tammy, and I said, you guys, in my head, Teresa and I are best friends. She has no idea who I am. I only watch her floss tubes. In my head, we are going to be the best of friends because she homeschools, and that automatically makes us best friends. So I was so excited to meet her in person. So I go over and I sit with Holly and Tammy, and I get to meet Teresa, and I was so excited. And then there's this lovely woman named Karen that they call her Pink because her hair is pink. And so I sit down, and she asks, where are you from? And I told her, and she was like, I live 20 minutes from you. And so we were so excited to like have stitchers that close. And we talked about like stitching days at Always in Stitches up in Noblesville, because that's where she lives. And so we were talking about all of that. And then Megan, who I had already met at StitchCon, I was so excited to see her again. And her best friend, Lisa. And that was really fun and exciting, just to like sit with girls who like, I don't know, it was a lot of fun. And then of course I sat with my normal crew, which is Stephanie and Katie, Melissa, and all the Crockpot crews. So it was fun to just be around people that I knew and that I was comfortable with, and that I could, after such a long month of just crazy, that I could just sit and relax. And, you know, at one point, you know, Steph and I were having a conversation and I began to cry, and I was like, ugh, I hate crying in front of people. So I got up and like walked away for a minute, and like, just know that those people aren't judging me, right? Like, just nobody judges each other. And it was nice to just feel like I was just at home with two different groups of girlfriends. So it was a very restful time. So just to say that I met all of those people in real life, in person, and seeing some of them again was just very, very sweet moment for me. So Saturday comes, and that is when like the big designer presentation is, Saturday night. So after a lot of hullabaloo in the hotel, we finally got to Judy's presentation, and she gifted us in this beautiful like blue bag. This is the Bluebird of Happiness by Judy from JBW Designs. And it says, may the Bluebird of Happiness always reside within you. And I just thought this was gorgeous. They passed around the model. Judy does all of her own modeling. And so they passed around this, and then they passed around a Keepsakes version that will stay at the store, at the shop. And so inside of it, Judy has a lovely introduction, and then she's got several different patterns, pin keeps and pin cushions and scissor fobs and a bag. And it's just super, super cute. But this is the main one. And then we got all the floss that we would need to stitch that on a card. Look at that floss card. Everything's labeled so nicely. It's just wonderful. So I have actually already started stitching this last night. I wanted to get started on it. So the called for fabric is Freeze by Atomic Ranch. And I did not know that. Unknowingly, on Friday, I had purchased from the Annex a few pieces of fabric, which you'll see. And I had bought 46 count in Freeze. And so I was very excited. So here's just my tiny little start on that I started last night. So super fun, 46 count. It'll be a lot smaller than the model, but I'm excited about it. Inside our little kit too, we got an advertisement for, let me just show you so I don't guess on everything. It is L&M Framing, and it's our friend Lisa. And let me fold this. This is her contact information. And you guys, she does beautiful framing, and she had framed this for Keepsakes. And so there was an advertisement in there that she is more than willing to frame all of our retreat pieces. And so it was just so awesome to like, I know that person, that's so fun. So, and then we got beautiful little stickers. So it was just, you know, it was a really, really sweet little time. And so I was glad to be able to start stitching that, and I'm excited to keep working on it when I'm done filming. So with that being said, it is raining here, so I apologize if you hear all of that. So yes, that is Freeze, 46 count Freeze by Atomic Ranch. Okay, Stitchway haul. Let's get through that, and then I'll go back to whips. And this video is going to be so long, I apologize. Okay, this is one of the ruler. It's not a caddy, but that's how everybody is using them, and I loved that. So this is just vintage rulers. I'm not even sure that they're vintage. They might just be stained that way. Now, Keepsakes had a stack of these at StitchCon, and they went like crazy. So I had a stack of them at Stitch Away, and I bought one to use like as a stitcher's tray, but I've seen several people put finishes in them, and I thought that was fascinating. So I got one of those, and then I have no idea where I'm gonna set all this stuff. Let me crinkle for a second so I can slide everything out of here, and then I will, yeah, see. I bought a little Ort thing that's the same ruler. It's a little bitty guy. That's the rulers too, but I didn't bring it up apparently. Okay, so I told you that JBW was the designer, so of course I got a ton of JBW stuff. Stephanie bought me this as a gift, which I just thought was so sweet. This is called Faithful Friend by Sweet Wing Studio. So we will put this in our pile of to be stitched in our friend Sal. I pulled this off of the freebie table. This is Cricut Collection book 55. And I just, even though we don't do Santa, this Santa and these tiny little elves, absolutely adorable. So that was on the freebie table. And then another Cricut Collection number 30 that was on the freebie table that I snatched was this one. And I think I really like this. I'm excited to put that in my stash. So those were on the freebie table. My friend Tammy brought me an adorable pattern that she had gotten at a retreat. Melissa had won one of the giveaways, and inside was a Sweet Wing Studio called Spring Doxology, and it says, "Praise God from whom all blessings flow." So this will go on my hymn wall that I do above our piano. So super cute. I am looking for, and I think I'm just going to end up having to design my own. I would like the entire doxology on a chart because I'd like to put that in the middle and then all the hymns that I stitch around it from Heartstring. And so I think I'm just going to have to pull out some sampler books and stuff like, and just design my own doxology so I can have the full thing kind of in a big frame in the center. Okay, now the things I purchased. JBW. We'll start with that. So I have Christmas Ornaments 1. That is the book that I bought. She just released it the first time I met her at Market. So now she's got 2, 3, and 4. So I got all of those. And to see her trunk show in person of all these tiny little ornaments, oh my goodness. Ornaments and stand-ups. And this is truly, I've seen this tree in person a couple of times now. Gorgeous. And then I got, this one is Petite Cottages. And they had the boards there that you can mount these on. Pam got them. I did not see them, which means everybody had them in their bag before I got to them. This is Antique Rooster Sampler. I'm going to stitch this in red for my mom for her birthday or Christmas. Birds and Berries. Beautiful. Whoop. Bunnies in the Round. And to hear Judy talk about how she started designing these tiny little ones is so fascinating. This one is Christmas in the Round. All these tiny little designs make up this little guy. And then this one is Dashing Through the Snow. And to give you an example, so those Christmas ornament books. Okay, I have Christmas Ornaments 1. And a few weeks ago, maybe even a few months ago, somebody was doing a sale somewhere where they were like pulling those out and stitching ornaments out of it. And so I pulled out my 56 count. And here are 2 ornaments out of that book that I just love. I mean, are you kidding? I'm trying to look for something for scale. I don't even have anything for scale. Here's a business card for Not Forgotten Farm that I can use on my little stitchers tray over here. So here's the size of a business card. And here's one of those JBW ornaments. Are you joking? Are those not the cutest thing? So those are in 56 count, and I keep them over here to be finished. So super, super adorable. Okay, then Bent Creek had a trunk show there as well. So I picked up a few things. I thought this would make a really cute smalls exchange for StitchCon. But then I was told I was crazy that seemed too big for StitchCon. And then I got this one because I wanted a couple of these Bent Creek rows because I want to switch out finishes. And I went into this weekend knowing I wasn't going to buy a ton from the annex, which let's just take a moment to laugh at that. Anybody who says I'm not going to buy much, okay. But I knew I'm really light on seasonal stitching such as spring and like Valentine's Day. I have no stitching in my house for those things. So I think that's why I was doing a ton of bunnies for 12 by 12. So she had Stitchers Row or Stitching Row. A lot of people bought this. I think it's adorable. So I want to finish that I can switch these out. And then this one's Valentine Row. So cute. So I got those from Bent Creek. And then this one is all in a row, October House. Very patriotic looking. So loved that. And this is actually all in DMC. And then I bought 4 pieces of fabric. I got the Freeze that I started Judy's piece on. Then I got this from Fox and Rabbit. It's a 46 count and it's called Saltbush. Steph and I actually both bought this, and so did Katie and Melissa. So here's that. The lighting is horrid. It's pouring down rain here, so I apologize. So it's a really great neutral. Then I have a pattern. I don't know where it's at. Yeah, I don't know where it's at. I have a pattern that I bought at Stitch Away last year that I had bought fabric for, but realized I bought 36 count, and 36 count is not my jam. So I was looking for different, this piece of hair is just going to do something. And so I need a new fabric for that. So that is a gray. This is Fox and Rabbit called Elephant Run and 46 count. And then lastly, this is Fiber on a Whim in Dunes. So love that. I think that one Rooster sampler would look great on this. Or there's another one that was like really dark fabric. This one, this Birds and Berries, is on a darker fabric like that. So here's kind of that. So very cool. I apologize for the lighting. It does the fabric no justice at all. So this is going to turn around and go in my 46 count. Look, I'm just putting stuff away as we go. I'm so proud of myself. So that is my Stitch Away haul. What next? My friend Caitlin, you guys. So I met Caitlin at StitchCon B last year. And she came up to me on the very last day. It was so sweet. It was real early in the morning. We were like the only, I don't know, handful of stitchers in the stitching room on Sunday morning. She came over and we talked and chatted, and she said the sweetest things. And so we've messaged back and forth just a couple of times, but she messaged me, and it's that tale, that never ending tale, whatever the saying is, that we stitchers, when we like things, we buy them multiple times on accident. So she had texted me, she's like, hey, I have this prairie school. Are you interested in it? Because I bought it twice. So she sent me this beautiful Christmas postcard. Is that not absolutely gorgeous? The vintage Santas. We don't do Santa in our home, but I do collect vintage Santas. We don't. Anyway, so I just thought that was beautiful. And here's the prairie schooler she sent me. So this is Starry Night. Look how pretty that is. So I'm so excited to have this and maybe sell that with her. That would be kind of fun, huh? So, and then my Be Stitch Me stuff came in for this month. So this is 46 count honey from Be Stitch Me. Really pretty, definitely honey color. And then I don't know if this is a new way that she's packaging them, but this is how the silks came this time. And it is all blues and grays. Look how beautiful those are. Blues and gray. Look, they're just gorgeous. So I really love Brandy's silks. They're really awesome. And her fabric, oh, it's a dream. It really, really is. So, okay. I know we did kind of things backwards here with haul first, but sorry. All right. Let's do 12 by 12 if you're still here. Let's do 12 by 12 whips. So I'm not going to do these in order. I do not remember what order I did them in, but this is Embroidery Stocking from Kathy Barrick. And it is on 46 count Be Stitch Me in Sand Dollar. And it's going to be a honker. And here's what I got done so far. Just a couple of letters. So there's that. I will tell you, I think Pam would tell you the same, is, you know, when you're hosting an event, there's a lot more back office than you anticipate. So an hour of stitching was not even close to an hour of stitching. And I think it's that way for attendees as well. But something about being the host, like you're liking pictures and commenting on Instagram and trying to do all the things and be everywhere all at one time. So you know, it gets a little interesting. All right, this is a Teresa Kogut. Love is the key. And it's the sweet little bunny couple. So I started that. This is on 46 count needle and flax in Thornfield. I bought this last year at Stitchway, I remember. And here's my little tiny start on that. I don't know, do you guys even care about these tiny little starts? It's because it's 12 by 12 and you just only have that hour to work on it. So I'll show them to you. If you don't love them, turn it off. And I've got to take the extra second to put it back together or I will lose everything. My office quite literally is a disaster. Okay, this little kit was a gift from my friend Holly. And this is so cute, Teresa Kogut. And I got the 40 count, Holly gave me the whole kit. So it is 40 count vintage country mocha. Here's my tiny little start. There we go. Do not even ask me where I started on this thing. Why I started so high up. Oh goodness. Now I'm gonna have to go back and figure out why that's so high up on that piece of linen, because that means I won't have enough room. Okay. Next is, I promise I stitched other things on 12 by 12 besides Teresa Kogut. It just doesn't look like it because this is another Teresa Kogut. I started this one right here. It's called ABC. It might be called ABC 1, 2, 3. I do not know. I did a floss conversion. This is on 46 count Mystic Fabrics in Olympia. Here's my tiny little start on that. Looks like a tiny little bat, but it is not. Okay. Oh, this is not, that's not a 12 by 12. All right. This one is Hands-On Design. Nope, not Hands-On Design. Hands Across the Sea, Alice Williams. And whoops, if you watch my 12 by 12 video, I talked about how I just pulled a bunch of random colors that I liked and worked on this. This is on 46 count V-Stitch Me in Scroll. It's such a tiny start, I can't even find it. There it is. There's Scroll. 12 by 12, I think went really well. We're very, very excited about next year. I was kind of putting a little buzz in people's ears. That's really loud. I was kind of putting some buzz in people's ears this weekend on like what our theme we think is going to be. And people were very, very excited about it. Okay, this is Lucy Beam Love and Stitches, and it's Rabbit House. Love that. This is 40 count Silk Weaver Purely Primitive. And again, my start is so tiny, I don't even know where it's at. Here it is. We're on like borders. So there's that. All right. Ooh, oh. Couple all at one time. This is Blackbird, A Wish for You. And I am doing this with my own color conversion. And I don't have a card. It is 40 count color and cotton fabric, but I don't have a card for it. Not sure why. Here's my bottom of the house. All right. This is Kathy Barrick, and it is needlework. This is on 46 count Bronze Age by V-Stitch Me. And here's 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 stitches that I got done in that hour. That must have been an hour I was tag teaming food or something. That's okay, right? This one is Not Forgotten Farm. Be Kind, or Kind Words. Sorry, Kind Words. This is on 46 count Be Stitch Me in coconut shell. Okay, I can't get this pattern open. There we go. And here we go. Little start there. I think that's the K. And I'm just doing that with black DMC. I didn't pick an overdyed or anything, just black. Kind of scared to shut this bag now. I don't know why that was so hard to do. All right, I've got 2 more 12 by 12s to show you. Oh no, there's 2 in this bag, so I have 3 more, sorry. This is Prairie Schoolers bunnies. The Prairie Schooler bunnies. So cute. And this is 40 count color and cotton field stone. Oh, there is only one project in here. And my tiny little green grass start there. So that is that. I think when I kitted this stuff for 12 by 12, I think I had 2 projects in here. I'm not 100% sure. Okay, and then the last one is Ever Humble by Not Forgotten Farm. Love this. I cannot wait to get to that house. Quaker pattern and house. I'm so excited about that. And this is a 46 count of some sort. And there's my little start. So I'm doing all the DMC for this. Because you know what? It might just be called for DMC. I'm not sure. So with all of that being said, 12 by 12, I think, you know, I had so much fun with it. And I think we had a ton of participation that I wasn't prepared for. And it was a ton of fun. So if you joined us, thank you so much for doing so. It was a good time, and I can't wait to kind of unravel our plans for next year. So, I don't think I have anything else. I appreciate my long-windedness and you staying around for that. So I appreciate that. And, yeah. I will be back next week, Lord willing, and that, with another Flosstube. I know I've got a YouTube partnership video coming out where I explain kind of what's going on in the YouTube partnership program right now. And so be looking for that soon, kind of explaining what that has to do with you and your Flosstube or designing and all of those things. So very excited about that, kind of explaining the emails that have been coming from YouTube if you are a creator. So with all of that being said, thank you so much for joining us in the Hive today, and we will see you next week.